This news program is proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Now Biscuits.
The high-level international leaders meeting hailed a success. PM Marpe says WAFIGOLPO project to start soon. And China supports PNG's partnership with other countries. A very good evening. This is National EMTV News. I'm Godwin Eki. Thank you for joining us. Commissioner of Police David Manning has commended PNG's disciplinary forces for what he described as a successful security operation for the high-level international leaders' visit over the weekend. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, New Zealand's Prime Minister Chris Hipkins, and the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, including leaders from the Pacific Island countries, all arrived in country on Sunday evening for the FIPIC summit.
Commissioner Manning said in a statement that professional standards and capabilities in the country's disciplined forces have been well displayed in the past few days when PNG hosted the third FIPIC summit. He said while there was still a lot of work and trainings to be done, policemen and women and all other disciplinary forces displayed a well-organized security operation during FIPIC, working alongside their counterparts from international security agencies as well. Over the past days, security forces have regularly manned APEC House at Ella Beach, where the summit was held, including the Jackson's International Airport, road routes within the city and hotels where the delegates were residing. Commissioner Manning explained that roadblocks were positioned at certain routes to allow for the convenience of the visiting delegates with the intention of minimal inconvenience to the residents of the city, adding this proved effective. Commissioner Manning further commended the personnel from the Royal PNG Constabulary, PNG Defence Force, and personnel from the correctional services, including government agencies, for their successful involvement in the FIPIC summit. In concluding, Manning heaped praise for the people of PNG, especially residents in Port Moresby, for the general well-behavior, despite some sectors of the community raising various concerns, especially on the signing of the Defence Cooperation Agreement. World's attention was on Papua New Guinea over recent days, with the security expectations of partner governments placed on our local forces' shoulders, and the rank and file delivered a safe and secure environment for our guests and the public. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister James Marpe says the billion-kina WAFIGOLPO project will start soon and they will be conducting development forums. He made this statement this afternoon in Lae, Morobe Province.
Speaking to the Morobe Provincial Assembly, or Tutumang, this afternoon, Marpe says they will pay a 50 million kina infrastructure development grant to the Morobe provincial government and the impacted districts for developments this afternoon.
Today, Finance Minister, Planning Minister, we carry 50 million kina putting budget for this year. We're going to talk of the so we're going to put the money of programs. There's 50 million kina we carry IDG. Infrastructure development grant.
Marpe says the presentation of the 50 million kina IDG shows the national government and MPG's commitment towards the WAFIGOLPO project. He added that another 50 million kina will follow suit after this. He told the LLGs, districts and the province to make good use of the IDG and provide much-needed services to the areas that will be impacted by the mining project. The Prime Minister also announced his help to relocate the Morobe provincial headquarters to a new location, preferably at Nadzab.
Whether to relocate or stop playing business, from giving recognition of value to a provincial government system. That our province's staff was a big Lakona force for a house to be called in Papua New Guinea.
He gave 10 million kina to support the design and planning of the new provincial headquarters, and after this the national government will put 70% and the Morobe provincial government will chip in 30% of the funding to fully construct and complete the provincial headquarters. Morobe Governor Luta Wenge thanked Marpe for the support he gave to Morobe and says Morobe will continue to work with the Marpe Rosso government to deliver to the people of PNG. Amanda Ilaitia, National EMTV News.
The three-day Parliamentary Committee on Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment public hearings has commenced today with testimonies from a range of NGO representatives and women experts who have provided the committee with insights from field on the real-life experiences of women and girls around the country.
The representatives participated today were from the Tribal Foundation, Voice for Change Family PNG, and the president of Divine Word University, Father Philip Gibbs.
Our rural women trying to access a justice, there's mess of challenge.
They made their testimonies on the challenges that they are faced with and pointed out the priority needs in front of the Permanent Parliamentary Committee at the State Function Room of the Parliament House today.
Rights and freedom of the Constitution.
Human rights activist from the Tribal Foundation, Ruth Kisam, says there is a disconnection between the government department and the civil society organization in terms of funding, which has greatly affected their work to help the victims.
Putting our lives at risk, trying to implement policies that have no funding because there's a disconnect between government departments. One department gets the money, another department gets to take charge of the policies, and then you have people on the ground trying to implement it.
She also stressed that the huge problem that they face is the prosecution process, adding that they are not able to prosecute due to less number of police in the country.
We have to go and borrow policemen from CIDs. We have to go borrow policemen from... When we go to FSVU, it doesn't have a structure. So it gets leftover policemen and women from others that do not, they just sit and mend the desk. They don't have a budget to help us out, to go retrieve witnesses.
The women's rights activist from the Voice for Change, Lily B. Sore, placed emphasis on the concern of the production and consumption of marijuana in the communities and its impacts on women and girls.
The production and the consumption of all this marijuana is happening right under the nose of our leaders. One of them is the leaders to be held accountable. Traditionally, leaders are to be the protectors and they're to be the securities of the clan.
The president of Divine Word University, who lived in PNG for 50 years now, also stated that he had come across a number of sorcery accusation violence, which is a big issue that needs to be addressed.
I think there's been some sort of disconnect between the community development and DJAG. You know, community development's been given the money, and DJAG has been given the task of trying to manage the situation, especially legally. And where's the money gone?
The Parliamentary Committee took note of the challenges that were brought before them and asked the representatives for their recommendations in order for them to address these issues. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Papua New Guinea is a sovereign country, and China says it has nothing against PNG developing partnership with other countries. This is a comment made by the Chinese ambassador to PNG, Zhang Fenghua, when speaking to the media in Lae yesterday.
Chinese ambassador to Papua New Guinea, Zhang Fenghua, says China is a huge trading partner of Papua New Guinea and other Pacific Island countries, and they have nothing against PNG going into partnerships with other countries.
So we have nothing against PNG developing partnerships with other countries, but we know that PNG people They want a better life, and they see climate change as the biggest challenge. So what we do, what we wish is that all the partners of PNG, we can join our strength to support this country and to face this challenge.
Ambassador Fan Hua, however, highlighted that what they do not want to see is geopolitical games in this region.
Don't want to see is geopolitical games in this region. Nobody wants to see that. So China has no intention to out-influence anyone in the Pacific Islands region. We're not interested in geopolitical contests in the name of so-called security cooperation. I believe that it's most clear for PNG people that who is truly supporting PNG's development and who is PNG's true friend.
He says he believes PNG and the Pacific are not interested in geopolitical contest. He says China will be here to support the people of PNG, its development aspirations, and benefit from each other.
It is to support PNG people, to support the government, and benefit from each other, and to create a win-win situation.
He made these comments after a meeting with Morobe Governor Luther Wenge on development aspirations of Morobe and how they can help each other in developing Morobe province. His comments were based on the U.S.-PNG Defense Cooperation Agreement, which was signed by the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and PNG Defense Minister Win Bakridaki on behalf of the PNG government on Monday this week in Port Moresby. Florence Jonduo, National EMTV News.
Apart from the APEC House at Ella Beach, where FIPIC's summit was held, the lively Gordon's Market became the centre of attention when New Zealand Prime Minister Chris Hipkins paid a courtesy visit to the vendors there on Monday morning. The New Zealand Prime Minister described the visit as a friendly feeling towards New Zealand.
Vendors and buyers alike were stunned by the presence of New Zealand Prime Minister Chris Hipkins as he walked through the gates of the Gordon's Market on Monday. Crowds cheered on, excited to have a glimpse of the Prime Minister, as PM Hipkins was also fascinated. He was met by host Governor Powes Pakop and City Manager Ravu Frank. In welcoming him, Governor Pakop said the Gordon's Market has empowered women, especially to thrive financially, adding this is one of the major market facilities in the nation's capital, where vendors come as far as the Gulf and Central provinces, respectively. Governor Pakop explained to the New Zealand Prime Minister that markets, including Gordon's, are an integral part of our community's development.
This SME creates an ecosystem that supports countless families and contribute to the economic growth of our city. And so, on this occasion, with your visit here to our market and our city, on behalf of the city, Prime Minister, I want to thank you, the government and people of New Zealand.
In a separate press conference, Prime Minister Hipkins described the visit as fascinating and welcoming.
That was a new thing for me, but I think what it does reflect is the warmth that is being exhibited towards New Zealand here in PNG. The market that we visited was funded by New Zealand. It's a safe market. It's a very valuable contribution that we have made to the local economy here in Port Moresby. And so I think that, you know, the strength of sentiment towards New Zealand, I don't necessarily take it as a personal reflection on me, much as I might like to. In reality, I think what it shows is that there is a lot of warmth towards New Zealand, and that's that was a really nice thing.
The Gordon's Market facility was refurbished and initially opened in 2018 by then Prime Minister Jacinta Ardern at a cost of 15 million kina. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
National MTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National MTV News. The US PNG Defense Cooperation Agreement and the Shipwright Agreement call for developing military infrastructure, boosting support for the Papua New Guinea Defense Force, and countering illicit transnational maritime activities. Separately, the Maritime Deal or Shipwright Agreement is expected to cover illicit transnational activities at sea. The signing of the agreement took place on Monday, the 22nd of May 2023, by U.S. State Secretary Antony Blinken and PNG Defense Minister Win Bakri Daki at the APEC House in Port Moresby.
Questions have been raised whether it is unconstitutional for the country to have such an agreement signed to let the superpower country have access through the marine territories and on-duty routines alongside PNGDF counterparts. The signing of the DCA has stirred up much controversy.
And for the betterment of the people of Papua New Guinea.
Yesterday, Morobe Governor Luther Wenge has made a call to seek clarifications on this agreement, and if it is identified that the agreement is considered unconstitutional, then the matter will be taken to court.
So when you were, the man who was presenting the petition to me,
an information session was held yesterday at Murray Barracks in Port Moresby, which saw PNGDF Commander Major General Mark Goyner explaining the agreement and how this will help boost the work of the PNGDF. Furthermore, the current agreement with US is a step up from Visiting Force Act 1975, where it is aimed at building credible infrastructures on Manus Island, which can be controlled and used by citizens and the PNGDF. According to U.S. officials, this maritime agreement will enable the U.S. Coast Guard to work alongside PNG naval patrols to combat illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing by closing global gaps in enforcement and overall building PNG's maritime governance capacity. Grace Papiali, National MTV News.
A groundbreaking ceremony took place on Saturday in Pimaga for the new Kila Council's chamber to be built in Kokobu LLG. President for Kokobu LLG John Pipikila thanked the Southern Highlands Governor William Powie for his support through the Provincial Services Improvement Program towards Kokobu LLG in building the new infrastructure that will benefit all 18 ward members and their communities. The groundbreaking ceremony of the Kokobu LLG chambers took place on Saturday. The building will cost 5 million kina and once completed will be named the Kila Chambers after the current president John Pipikila. President John Pipikila thanked the people for their support and assured the people that more and more developments will take place in the area moving forward. He said building the chambers in the area will help the ward members work together and make better decisions that will help their people and the community at large.
Last week Saturday on Pimaga Station, one of more people blow me long for in the Faso, man, Mary and pull up, na me launch him. Before houseman blow Kokobu and Nogat. Houseman blow Kokobu Nogat na Mipla, I think Lapuna to be Tagachu be making one blood chamber, council chamber blow Kokobu 18 blood council chamber. And been making loan maybe 25 years or 30 years. Na Sampson president Blok Kokobu bin start meeting lo di same house na chamber na then me too and me been start 5 years me been using this blood chamber na me looking na and then chamber I think Gori give him Papa Gori give him Tintin Wari blow me and looking Wari that Tintin blow me finish.
President Kila is calling on all the leaders to work together to help the people by providing vital services to the people for a better life.
Southern Highlands, Governor William Powie, na support plongen, big plus support plongen lo me. If me no stop one them Governor Powie, me no tino sem bispla control chamba lo pimanga basana. Me la talk on behalf of people blow me long Foyi, na Faso, Yalanda, Paguale, 18 black council. Na me talk me blog that talk big black thank you igolong Governor William Powie. 5 million kina billion come up long Pimanga station Saturday me groundbreaking ceremony Chamba name blow Chamba me put him welcome Kila Chamba and name blow Chamba but stop Kila Chamba because me been start plongen na me yet walking so I'm strong blow me na strong blow Governor Powie na support blow ni Kokobu MP Honorable Dr. Billy Youngblood man na Youngblood leader support.
He also took time to thank the governor of the province, William Powie, for supporting him and the people of Kokobu LLG, and that he will continue to work side by side with the other leaders and the governor so that health, education, infrastructure, and other vital services are brought to the doorstep of the people. President for Kokobu LLG, John Pipikila, says he would like to see the support of the provincial leaders make Lake Kokobu a tourism hotspot in the near future. He said the people of Kokobu have a lot to offer to the outside world, as well as those from other parts of the country. The pristine clear waters of Lake Kokobu in the Southern Highlands province is known for its Kundu and Isago festival that offers a rare showcase of its fascinating culture. President of Kokobu LLG, John Pipikila, made mention that Lake Kokobu is something not many Papua New Guineans and tourists have experienced yet, one he says needs more exposure when it comes to tourism and promoting Lake Kokobu and what it has to offer when it comes to cultural diversity and its natural environment. He added that he would like to see more tourists, both national and international, visit Lake Kokobu and have a taste of the true tranquility of what Lake Kokobu has to offer. President Kila explained that he is working closely with the provincial leaders and the Governor William Powie and is hoping that the provincial leaders, with the support from the Governor and the Tourism Promotion Authority, more tourism activities can be developed in the area to attract tourists. The students of St. Ignatius Secondary School in Aitape, Sundown Province will now have access to a resource center for the first time to learn and improve on computer skills. The resource center was established by the International Telecommunications Union under the Straight PNG program.
St. Ignatius Secondary School has over 800 students and is regarded as one of the rural schools in the country due to its geographical setting. Regardless, the school is one of the top-performing schools in the country. However, one of the challenges that they are faced with is computing classes. With this resource center being established, the school principal is confident that it will greatly help the students, especially the grade 12s.
One of the skills that many of our past students lack is computing skills. All our former students still maintain their connection with us, not only the admin but all teachers. And we have experienced many of our former students saying that they are behind computational skills in the first year and second year in universities and other colleges. So I am so with this computers delivered to the school, it will create many hands-on from the students.
He says the focus for education now in the country is more into books, and with this resource center built for the school, it will help the students develop their computing skills. The principal adds that this center will benefit not only the students and teachers, but it will also help the farmers in Aitape when need be.
This center will be open to local farmers on specific dates, maybe during term breaks or during the Christmas break, where the enrollment and registration of the local farmers will be taken care by the ITU. So it will not disturb the flow of our curricular activities here. Local farmers come, and then we have trainers to train them on maybe marketing and so forth.
Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2830 US dollars in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.2755 US dollars, $0.4138 Australian dollars, $0.2482 euro, 37.75 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York closed, gold is trading higher, coffee closed lower, cocoa closed lower, copra closed lower, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading higher, copper closed lower. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. President for Kokobu LLG, John Pipikila, on behalf of his 18 ward members and the communities, thanked the leaders of the province, including Governor for Southern Highlands, William Powie, for his continued support in providing much-needed community services, as well as providing vital government services for the progression of their LLG and province as a whole.
The council blow me. Oli toko sem tok lo o toko sem 18 blakau council blow me or tok kam lo 18 blak council or sem mouse lol em kam lo me na me talk out na talk straight or sem lo media or sem Governor William Powie time you been campaign me bla been giving you 18 blak peak na me bla been giving you 18 blak sak na sambla muruk. Na big blood thank you long 18 blood council come long Governor William Powie, Southern Highlands Governor, law mibla give him the election tasol you know losing law mibla. Support law Niba Kokobu MP, Honorable Dr. Billy, young blood man, young blood leader support. Mr. Bondem, Governor Powie, Mr. Bondem, Dr. Billy. Nebablo ni ba Kokobu big blood thank you blow me na people blow Kokobu na 18 blood council ikam blow Southern Highlands Governor William Powie one them member blow ni ba Kokobu Honorable Dr. Billy Joseph.
Croton Laitepo Equities Limited, a landowner company of Hides 4 PDL7, has given over 1.2 million kina as titles towards churches in PDL7 area in the Hela province. The check presentation was today at Croton Laitepo Equities Limited office in Port Moresby.
Chairman of the local company, Andy Hamaga, believes empowering and supporting churches will provide a positive and lasting change in the mindset of the local people. Hamaga explained that the company has created an entity called Heights Christian Churches Sustainable Development Fund for the churches, where 10% of every payment received will be put into this entity for the churches. Chairman Hamaga further clarifies.
In 2009, we signed an agreement with the state and led on us for the PNG LNG project. UBSA was signed in Kokobu in 2009, May, followed by a license-based agreement in height in December same year. And in one of the clauses we have in the UBS agreement, under clause 6.4, we agreed that 10% tithe would be given back to churches.
Hamaga added that this is the third payment paid as tithes for the churches in PDL 7, with the first and second payments of 1.5 million kina paid previously. These funds allocated to the churches will be used for church projects in the area, and these funds will be acquitted for, as alluded to by the company's general manager, Lufai Wari.
In the MOA we signed with the foundation that represents the interests of the churches in Knightsville, we made it clear that the funds will be, spent on intended purposes, and at the end of the day, they have to do acquittal.
A total of 1,248,500 kina check was presented today to the president of the churches in PDL 7. This tithing program to churches will continue accordingly when the landowner company Croton's Laitepo Equities Limited receive their dividends. Lindy Suharupa, National MTV News.
A small local to medium-sized business has partnered with City Pharmacy Limited to expand their customer reach. CPL Group has been supporting local businesses nationwide since its establishment. The local SME Pearl Body Scrub will no longer be a home-based business, as their products can be now bought from CPL outlets in Port Moresby.
Managing Director of Pearl Body Scrub, Sarah Artengo, says she started producing skincare products for herself, which eventually turned into a business. Sarah reflects on her SME's journey since its launch to date.
Well, I started making scrubs when I was very young, at 14, because I had a skin allergy. So my skin became extremely sensitive. I couldn't use any store-bought products, so I had no choice but to make my own products. So at least I knew what was in the product itself that I was using. 16 years, I launched Pearl Body Scrub into the market, into the PNG market. So from 2009, we've been doing awareness and stuff on skin cleanliness and hygiene. Encouraging people to add exfoliation into their skin cleansing regime.
The scrubs were shelved on the City Pharmacy shelves since last week Monday and are available at CPL Vision City, Harbour City, Waigani Central and Waigani Showroom. Both parties are hopeful that by next month, Pearl Body Scrubs should be available in other CPL outlets nationwide. She adds that so far, these are the products they currently have on shelves in CPL shops.
Basically, the scrubs are made of goat's milk and sugar, the sugar-based scrubs. And there's different plant, seed and fruit infusions in the scrub so that different scrubs can be used, or the different scents can be used for different skin types. People have different skin types, so they choose a scent which is suitable for their skin type.
Like any other SME, they have had their fair share of challenges, but commitment, hard work, perseverance and faith has brought them thus far. Amanda Ilaitia, National MTV News.
Moving to overseas news now, the Australian Prime Minister and his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi met in Sydney this morning with trade on top of the agenda.
Last night, tens of thousands of Narendra Modi supporters gathered at Sydney Olympic Park to welcome him to the city. It was not all smooth sailing, though, with riot police diffusing a flashpoint between protesters and supporters of Mr Modi outside the arena. Inside the building, both Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Narendra Modi praised Australia's Indian community.
Your million-strong community has contributed so much to this country. The people here tonight, your families, your communities, will always be the lifeblood of the relationship that India and Australia share.
our mutual respect.
This mutual trust and mutual respect have not developed only due to India-Australia diplomatic relations. The real reason for this, the real power, the force is you, each and every Indian.
National MTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with local sports. Following their first appearance in the Oceania Football Confederation in the Men's Champions League in Vanuatu, the Hekari United Football Club, representing Papua New Guinea, arrived back in Port Moresby today, where they were greeted by families, friends and the local media. According to coach, despite their loss, the team had the great experience attending the tournament after giving their best against some of the top teams in the competition. With the loss in Vanuatu, Hekari United FC have now bowed out of the Oceania Football Confederation competition. This will now see Hekari United FC head back to training in preparations for other upcoming tournaments. PNG International rep Nelson Sampson, who has been representing PNG at the international stage, has less than a month to go before he travels to Australia to represent PNG. Nelson, who started his training late last year in preparation for his international bout, has been using the Sejongkai Stadium for his training. Training for the PNG international and professional kickboxer who goes by the stage name Desert Storm started his preparations last year, where he has been training at the Sejongkai Stadium. While this is not the first time for Nelson to travel abroad, come June to represent PNG, he has over the last 5 years been travelling back and forth to Australia to attend international bouts, fighting under his international promoter Steve Jez in Sydney, New South Wales. However, Nelson says, like any other international athlete, training is paramount. Apart from training, he is also the president to his club, the Desert Storm Club, and he is also preparing an event for local fighters in his club in July of this year. Currently, all the fighters are training together with their coach and president Nelson Sampson at the Sejongkai Stadium in preparation for their national bout, while Nelson is using this opportunity to also prepare himself for his international bout in Sydney, Australia. Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Moving to overseas sports now. Investigation into reports of racial abuse directed towards Gold Coast defender Mac Andrew during the weekend clash has failed to identify the fan responsible.
Well, the Brisbane Lions say it was disgusting racial language that was directed towards the Gold Coast Suns defender Mac Andrew, who is of South Sudanese heritage, one of the real rising stars in the AFL, one of the first Sudanese players that have actually been picked in the top 5 draft picks. So this was during the Q clash over the weekend, where the Brisbane Lions hosted the Gold Coast Suns in their round 10 match, and the Brisbane Lions did launch an investigation to try and track down the person responsible, the Brisbane Lions fan responsible for making these comments, but unfortunately they were unable to track this person down because this person was sitting in the general admission area. Had they been able to track down this person, there was a few things they could have done. One of them would have been to cancel this person's membership if they did have a membership with the club. Another option would have been to ban this person from going to any Brisbane Lions games in the future. But the club did release a statement saying the club takes matters of racial and antisocial behaviour at our games seriously. Such behaviour is at odds with our values and the club we aspire to be. We've also heard from Mac Andrew Carino, who's posted online on Instagram saying, "Black and proud, no space for racism in this game." We saw recently the Brisbane Lions club deal with a racism issue of their own involving star forward Charlie Cameron. He was racially abused online. We saw Jamara Ugle-Hagan earlier this year, the Western Bulldogs player, who was also racially abused during a game.
Lewis Hamilton has been linked with a shock move to Ferrari after seven-time world champion has been offered around $75 million.
Seven-time world champion has been offered around $75 million to make the move in 2024. Hamilton is off contract at Mercedes, and although he's pledged he'll never leave, it's believed the lack of competitiveness with Red Bull could persuade him to have a change of heart.
In cycling, Geraint Thomas has resigned the overall lead despite narrowing missing out on victory in stage 16.
The Welshman, who turns 37 tomorrow, had to settle for second behind João Almeida on a punishing 203-kilometre journey. However, it was enough for him to reclaim the pink jersey. Thomas now has an 18-second lead over a very happy Almeida.
Yeah, I'm super happy. It's a dream come true. After 4 years, I was always so close and so far at the same time. And finally, I got it.
That ends Trukai Sports Day Money Plus. Weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, Port Moresby, cloudy periods with possible overnight rain showers. Daru, cloudy periods with morning showers. Germa, cloudy periods with overnight rain showers. Alatau, overnight heavy rain showers and possible thunderstorm. Opondeta, cloudy periods with possible morning rain drizzles. In the Momase region, Lae and Madang, cloudy with overnight and morning showers. Wewak and Vanimo, overnight rain showers and thunderstorm. In the New Guinea Islands region, Loringau and Kavieng, thundery showers. Kokopo, Rabaul, Kimbe and Buka, overnight and morning rain showers and possible thunderstorm. And in the Highlands region, all centres cloudy with rain drizzled and morning fog.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Wednesday, the 24th of May, 2023. From the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.